Okay, Dad, this story is called Dad's Car Old Stuck Up, James, and the Diesel Engines.
Oh, Carl was travelling over the island Sodor and decided to visit all his engine friends. The Fat Controller said, I preferred steam engines on his railway, but he found diesels useful because they could pull either coaches or trucks. Oh, said Carl. They're very versatile. You would say real mixed traction engines. Boko and Bear were proud of this, but James was not impressed. He liked these two diesels, but he treated all the others with deep suspicion. Diesels don't use coal and water, he would say darkly. How can you trust an engine that isn't normal in its habits? Visiting diesels sometimes boasted about how special they were. Usually Boko and Bear had to spend the next day smoothing ruffled feelings. One day a particular haughty diesel came from the other railway. When the visitor found that he was to share the shed with the steam engines, he stopped outside in disgust and refused to go any further. Carl said, What's the matter? Why don't you go in? Why on earth does your controller keep such out-of-date objects? He growled rudely. Dirty, smoky, slow things. He shuddered delicately. On our railway, diesels continue loftily. Steam engines are kept strictly in their place and not allowed on the main line without special permission. Boko, who was showing the diesel round, lost patience. Stay outside then if you're so proud about it, he said crossly. I'm going to join my friends. I hope it's cold tonight and you can't start in the morning, snorted James. At least someone might want to preserve us. Who'd need him, old stuck-up? The engines were glad the morning came. They were to fetch their trains as early as they could, and the visitor was left alone. That's better, he purred to himself. How can an engine rest in all this hissing and clanking? The cleaning equipment and fuel supply were part of the shed, which Boko and Bear shared. Old Stuck-up was full of self-importance, but he had forgotten he would need cleaning and refueling before he went home.
And the car was refueling.
And the car was getting fuel as well, ready to go. It was getting late when he remembered, if I go now while the shed is empty, he said to himself, no one will know. He scuttered forward quickly, too quickly. The rails where Bear and Boko had stood were oily, and when he tried to stop, he couldn't. Brake blocks and buffers, I'm slipping. Carl said, watch out for the wall. He wowed, his wheels locked and slivered. He shut his eyes as his desperate whoop of horror. He crashed into the wall at the end of the shed.
The car went to escape.
A car laughed and left.
I went to escape.
The diesel was not badly damaged, but the dreadful draught came through the hole in the wall where the other engines came home. They heard the story from Douglas, who cleared up the mess. Ho, 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 chortled Henry. Old Stuck-up came unstuck, did he? I say, Boko. What is it, the Fat controls you? Versatile, chuckled Boko. But that isn't what they call Stuck-up. I couldn't hear all he said, but I didn't think it sounded very polite. Is that it? The end.
Right, to be continued.